Number 7. Honda Accord. The Honda Accord has been making a case for itself since 1976, not through advertising, but through owners who drove one to 150,000 miles without the repair events that comparable sedans had normalized, then told their neighbor about it. In an earlier IC car study analyzing cars still on the road past 200,000 miles, the Honda Accord placed first among all passenger cars. The J-Series V6 and the K-Series four-cylinder that have powered the Accord across multiple generations produced the same result across different configurations, a powertrain that accumulates miles without the internal wear rates that the rest of the segment has accepted as normal. The Accord's maintenance record is not complicated. Oil on schedule, timing belt or chain in newer models replaced at the manufacturer's interval, transmission fluid kept clean. The owners who have driven Accords to 200,000 miles and beyond are not performing extraordinary maintenance. They are following the schedule Honda printed in the owner's manual and discovering that the engineering anticipated the mileage they were accumulating. The Accord is at number 7 because the car that placed first on the IC Cars longevity study has been proving its case one owner conversation at a time for nearly 50 years. Number 6. Toyota Prius. The assumption about hybrid vehicles was that the battery would fail before significant mileage. The Toyota Prius spent 25 years documenting that this assumption was wrong. According to the IC Car study, 2.6% of Toyota Prius models sold in 2020 had already crossed the 200,000-mile mark. Taxi companies in New York City, Chicago, and San Francisco ran Prius fleets to 300,000 miles and reported battery replacement rates that the initial assumption had not predicted, lower than expected, with many batteries outlasting the vehicles around them. The Prius's 1.8-liter Atkinson cycle engine runs at lower compression loads than a conventional engine because the electric motors handle the acceleration demand that conventional engines must provide alone. The result is reduced thermal stress, reduced mechanical wear, and a powertrain that accumulates miles at a rate that the 2.6% figure from IC Cars confirms. The Prius is at number 6 because the Prius proved hybrid technology extends a vehicle's lifespan rather than shortening it, and because the taxi fleets that ran them to 300,000 miles made the documentation available for anyone willing to count. Number 5. Honda Civic. The Honda Civic's legendary 1.8-liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder engine, particularly in the 8th and 9th generation models produced from 2006 through 2015, has accumulated longevity records that the compact car segment has not matched. Honda's brand ranks second overall in the IC Cars longest-lasting vehicle study, with Honda producing 1.6% of all vehicles reaching 200,000 miles against a segment average of 1%. The Civic, as Honda's highest volume model, carries that brand reliability record into the most accessible price point in the lineup. The Civic's engineering restraint, the 1.8-liter R18 engine, carries no turbocharger, no variable displacement, and no dual-clutch transmission through the 9th generation, keeps the failure modes that end high-mileage ownership away from its most critical systems. Owners who drive Civics to 200,000 miles do so without timing chain replacement, without transmission failure, and without the electronic failures that define more complex competitors. The Civic is at number 5 because the compact Honda built to be accessible turns out to also be built to last, and the owners who drove past 150,000 miles without a repair event are the documentation the ranking confirms. Number 4. Toyota Avalon. The Toyota Avalon is the only large sedan to appear on the IC Cars top-ranking models for 200,000-mile longevity, with 3.9% of Avalons reaching the 200,000-mile mark, nearly 4 times the segment average. The Avalon's 3.5-liter 2GR FE V6, shared with the Camry and the Highlander, operates at stress levels substantially below its design ceiling in the Avalon's full-size body. The result is the same dynamic that produced the Bonneville 455's longevity record in the 1970s, an engine built for more than it will ever be asked to do, running cooler and cleaner than its rated output requires, lasting longer than anything engineered only to meet the minimum standard. The Avalon buyer in the used market is purchasing something that the new car market does not adequately explain: a full-size Toyota sedan at a price below the Lexus ES, with a powertrain that 3.9% of every Avalon ever sold has taken past 200,000 miles. It is the most overlooked longevity value in the American car market, occupying a position that its sales volume has never reflected, and that its ownership data has consistently confirmed. Number 3. Toyota Camry Hybrid. In an IC Cars study analyzing the longest-lasting cars by highest mileage achieved in the top 1% of ownership, the Toyota Camry Hybrid recorded an average top 1% lifespan of 230,547 miles, the highest figure for any mid-size sedan in the study. The Camry Hybrid's 2.5-liter Atkinson cycle four-cylinder, operating at reduced thermal load because the electric motors handle peak demand, accumulates miles without the internal wear rates that conventional engines produce under the same sustained use. The hybrid system does not add complexity that shortens the ownership experience. It removes the mechanical stress events that end it. Toyota sold the Camry Hybrid alongside the conventional Camry for years before the ownership data confirmed what the engineering predicted. The hybrid's powertrain, operating at lower stress levels than the conventional engine across every mile of every ownership cycle, produces a longer documented lifespan at a rate the non-hybrid cannot match. The Camry Hybrid is at number 3 because 230,547 miles as the top 1% lifespan is not a claim Toyota made in a brochure. It is the figure that the owners who kept driving produced in the odometer readings that IC Cars documented when those cars changed hands. Number 2. Toyota Highlander Hybrid. The Toyota Highlander Hybrid is the only crossover to appear on the IC Cars top-ranking models for 200,000-mile longevity, built on a car-based unibody platform, not the body-on-frame construction of a truck. According to the IC Cars study, 3.8% of Toyota Highlander hybrid models had been driven more than 200,000 miles at the time of their sale. That figure makes it the highest-performing unibody crossover in the longevity study, a distinction that the segment's conventional wisdom, which holds that unibody construction limits long-term durability, had not predicted. The Highlander Hybrid's proven 3.5-liter V6, paired with Toyota's planetary gear system, produces sustained power while dramatically reducing thermal and mechanical stress on the internal combustion engine across every mile of ownership. The same Atkinson cycle operating principle that extends the Camry Hybrid's lifespan applies here at a larger scale, in a package that carries 7 passengers. The Highlander Hybrid is at number 2 because the only crossover to crack the IC Cars top longevity rankings proved Toyota's hybrid engineering principle produces 200,000-mile rates regardless of body style, confirmed by 3.8% of every one ever sold. Number 1. Toyota Corolla. Toyota earned the top spot in the IC Cars brand longevity ranking with 2.0% of its vehicles reaching 200,000 miles, double the average for all vehicles. Within that brand record, the Toyota Corolla is the most documented case in the category. It is the best-selling nameplate in automotive history, with over 50 million units sold worldwide. The owners who drove Corollas to 200,000 miles and described the experience to their neighbors created the reliability reputation that no Toyota advertising budget could have purchased, because the documentation came from people who had lived it, not from a company that had claimed it. The Corolla's 4 cylinders, designed with the thermal margins that sustain high mileage operation requires, have accumulated owner testimony since 1966. The maintenance costs at 150,000 miles are exactly what the schedule predicted. No surprise engine work, no transmission rebuild, no electrical failure requiring dealer-only diagnosis. The Corolla is at number 1 because the best-selling car in history built its sales record on the same foundation its longevity record stands on, and the owners who drove it to 200,000 miles and beyond remain the most effective advertisement Toyota has ever had.